Straight
Part 3, high income skills versus high income systems. Now, if you have not heard the first two parts of this series, then I would strongly suggest you go back to yesterday's and the previous day's masterclasses to make sure you understand where we're coming from here and why we're talking about this the way that we're talking about this, especially those of you who are entrepreneurs or plan on becoming entrepreneurs, because I'm giving you some serious game here that will really help you take your game, your business, etc., from where it is to where you want it to be. And again, that is yesterday's episode and today's episode. So let's just pick up where we left off with point number 7. High income skills versus high income systems. Number 7, skills require discipline. Systems require vision. Now, why is this a thing and why does this matter? Well, first of all, discipline is the foundation of what work on your game is about. So again, I will say for the 10th time in this series, I am not discounting the value of a skill because discipline builds skill. A system has discipline in and of itself. For something to be a system, discipline must already be baked in. If there's no discipline, there's no system. The whole thing about a system is that it produces the same results the same way every single time. That is the discipline. Why? Because there's a structure there. The structure produces discipline. So you don't have to think about discipline when you have a structure, as long as that it actually is indeed a structure. So if you know me and my work, again, you hear me talk about discipline all the time. It's the open secret of professionalism. And one thing about being a professional is you have to show up and deliver regardless of how you feel. That is if you're an individual, of course. If you're a team, of course. And understand that systems can be professional too. The good news about a system being professional and executing professionalism is that a system does not have human emotions or human feelings. Systems do not have headaches. They don't get tired. Their back never hurts. A system shows up and delivers every single time because it has no feelings. So a system, ladies and gentlemen, is generally more reliable than any human being in the world, even the most disciplined person in the world. A system is more reliable than me individually as a person. The system of how the work on your game show, this very masterclass you're listening to, the system that produces this show is more reliable than Dre Baldwin, the person who actually is the mastermind behind the show. How is that? Because the system of how this show comes out is very consistent. You know it's coming out every morning when you wake up. There's going to be a new episode in your inbox or wherever you're listening to this, in your feed, wherever you consume this. I don't record a new episode of this show every single day. Many people always ask me that. The answer is, for those that wondering, no, I don't record a new episode every day, then it comes out tomorrow. I record these episodes far in advance. Right now, as of this recording, I'm probably about 40 to 50 episodes ahead of the publishing schedule. Meaning, I'm recording this episode on the day that you're listening to the episode that came out 50 days ago. So I'm that many episodes up. So if I want to take a vacation or my computer breaks or I lose my voice for a week, it's okay. You won't know about it unless I tell you, because the episodes are going to keep coming out as if nothing ever happened. All right. The system is more reliable than I am. And I am a highly disciplined individual. All right. Discipline is the foundation of what I do. Work on your game is about professionalizing and structuring professional level discipline and execution to produce results. So literally is the foundation of what I'm about. And my system is still better at it than I am. Okay. So I can't give you a stronger endorsement for systems than that. And one thing everybody knows about, yet many people don't have and or are unwilling to get, is discipline, even though everybody knows they need it and everyone knows the value of it, or generally they understand it. So discipline allows you to separate yourself from many other professionals. It's a separation secret, discipline. At the same time, all these positive things I said about discipline alone gets you to show up and do the work that gets you paid. That's not the same tool that you need if you want to build a system. Showing up every day to do your job is important, but it's not the same thing as having a system. To build and it's not the same tool you need to build a system. To build a system, you don't need discipline. You do, but it's not the main thing you need. Let me say it that way. To build a system, you need vision. What kind of vision do you need to build a system? Well, let's just deconstruct what I've been telling you here, just using myself as an example. I told you back in 2008, 2009, when YouTube told me, Dre, we will pay you money for every time somebody watches one of your YouTube basketball drill videos. I said, okay, well, if that's the case, I should just start putting on videos every day. At this point, I wasn't doing videos every day. I started doing videos every day in 2009. I haven't stopped since. And I reasoned that if I'm going to put out videos every day, I can't just depend on my own genius to come up with a new idea every day. That's not a sustainable business model. I told myself this in 2009. I got to come up with a process for producing ideas at mass and in volume over and over and over again, to where the ideas just keep coming and they build on each other, to where the ideas are not dependent on me being this genius who just comes up with shit out of nowhere, but a system to where, let's say, one idea can actually be multiplied and extrapolated into 30. So if I come up with 10 ideas, I actually get 300 videos. I need to come up with something that makes that make sense, or something that rhymes with that, if you follow my metaphor. And I did exactly that, which is the reason why to this day I have probably 15,000 videos published on the internet. And don't tell anybody I told you this, but I got another 2,000 to 3,000 basketball drill videos that I never actually put out, because I stopped putting basketball videos out before I put out all the shit that I had recorded, because I've recorded so much. So one day, maybe 100 years from now, they'll release the unreleased Dre Baldwin basketball videos. Maybe my great grandson will put them out, and that'll come out kind of like Napoleon Hill's book to Outwitting the Devil came out 100 years after he passed away. So maybe I'll leave it in my will somewhere for people to go put those videos out. The whole point is I came up with a system. The system was a product of vision, not a product of skill. Everybody understand? This is what I'm trying to get across to you. The reason I was able to come up with a system for putting out this show the way that I put it out, the reason I came up with a system for putting out those YouTube videos back in the day, is because I had the vision of, if I'm going to do it this way, I know it can't just be every day I'm just going to outskill however I feel, or outskill the weather, or outskill the internet, or outskill whatever. I can't just come up every day and just depend on just having skill. Even though I could. Technically, I could do it because of who I am and the way I'm wired. But I didn't want to depend on that. I don't want that to be the failure point of what I'm doing. So how do I come up with a system that is more reliable than me and that replaces me? As I just told you all, I'm 50 some episodes up in terms of recording of this show, which means if I decide to not record for a month straight, you would never know unless I told you. And I just told you that maybe I will. Usually I record very consistently, even though I have many episodes up. I'm 50 episodes up. I'm trying to get 60 up. I'm 60 up. I'm trying to get 100 up. I want to get like 1,000 up. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it, but I'm trying. The whole thing is the system is the reliable thing. All I do is what the system tells me to do. This is the position you want to be in. You want to be in a position where the system tells you what to do rather than you tell the system what to do, because you telling the system what to do is still dependent on you. The system shouldn't be dependent on anyone. The system is its own person. And you get to the point where you work for the system and you can get in the passenger seat, and the system is kind of like an autonomous vehicle, if you follow my metaphor here. So you need the vision to build a system of how a certain skill can be used by you or anyone else and continue to produce a result into the future with or without your talent. That's the kind of vision you got to have. Let me say that sentence again. This is a very important sentence. Entrepreneurs who are listening to this, please listen very carefully to what I just said. I'm going to say it again. To create a system, you need the vision of how your skill or somebody's skill can be used either by you or someone else and continually produce a result, even at scale, i.e. 10 times what it's producing now without 10 times the effort, into the future with or without the involvement of any specific individual and their talents. That's the kind of vision you need to build a system. Now, is that easy? For some people it is. The concept is easy for some people. For some of you, that concept is more harder to grasp. The good news is it, better question is it doable? And there's the good news. The answer is absolutely it is. Most of you work in spaces in which systems are very easily put together. Just yesterday, I was talking to some people who work in the legal industry, and the legal industry is highly systemizable in terms of how you work in it, regardless of where you work in the system, simply because the legal industry is very straight line. It's very narrow in terms of what can be done and what can't be done, as opposed to, let's say you're the curator at a museum, or you're an artist who does sculpture and paintings. That is not very narrow, because there's a million different ways you can do that, quote unquote, the right way. And there's no such thing as the right way. Now, in the legal profession, there's a narrow lane of things that you can do, and there's a wide lane of stuff you can't do. So to be doing it right within the realm of the profession and to stick to the rules is a very narrow thing. And the more narrow your lane is, the more easy it is to systemize it, because there are fewer variables. The more variables involved, the harder it is to put the system together. Now, notice I said the harder. I didn't say impossible. Anything can be systematized. It just depends on what you want the system to do. Anything can be systematized. with the right thinking, the right structure, and then putting the right pieces or the right structure around the system. Now, some people, again, if you're like me, I get excited when I think about how to systematize something. Some of you, it makes you have a headache. That's okay. That's why people like you who get a headache when you think about systems, you need to get on the phone with people like me so I can help you. And it's the reason why we have Work on Your Game University. I can help you systematize damn near anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Again, it does not matter what it is. We can systematize anything. You just tell me what the outcome is. I'm going to ask you some questions to find out how it works if I don't know, and we can systematize it. That's a guarantee that I give you. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, and if I'm lying, you can tell the whole world. So that's what you want. That's the kind of vision you need to produce a system, okay? That requires that you have a vision in your mind of what it can look like and or how it can work, even if you're not the one doing the work. This is an ability that a lot of people simply don't have, as I just explained. Good news is you don't have to have this ability, okay? You don't have to have this ability. Personally, I like having tints on the windows of my vehicles. When I drive a car, I like the windows to be tinted. Not super black tinted to where you can't see inside of it, even if you cupped your hands to the window, but I like there to be tints on the window. Putting tints on a window is a skill that I do not have. First car I ever drove, the first car I had, my first car, I did put tints on the window myself. And you know somebody put the tints on the window themselves when you look at somebody's window tints and you see the bubbles in the tent is all bubbling up because they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they shouldn't have did it themselves. They should have hired a professional to do it. And these days when I get a car and I want to put tints on the window, if it doesn't have them already, I hire a professional to do it, and it looks super duper professional. You never see bubbles. You never see the tint like curling up at the bottom or none of that shit. That's what happens when amateurs do it. The whole point, the reason I'm bringing all this up is that I had the vision to get the system, and this is a system. The system is I'm going to hire somebody to put tints on the window. That's the system. Because the end game is I want tints on the window. I know I'm not doing it. So what's the system? Find somebody, hire them, pay them, they do it, done. That's the system. So ladies and gentlemen, the system does not have to be some super convoluted algorithm. It just need to be a process that produces an outcome in a predictable and consistent way. You do not have to have the skill. Only skill I got to have is knowing that I'm not going to do it myself. That's a skill. That's a discipline, rather. I got to have the skill of having the money to pay the person. That's it. So the vision is I want tints on these windows. All right, that's the vision. The system is, okay, how do I get that done? Because I ain't doing it. Everybody get it? So I'm giving you simple systems. There are more complex systems, of course, as well. Think of how Amazon's website works and their entire system from the time you place an order to the package being at your door in 3 hours. All right, that's a system. It's a more complicated system nonetheless. Point number 8. Today's topic, once again, is high income skills versus high income systems. Number 8, skills attract clients. Systems keep them around. Any of you who work in a client-based business, most of the people I work with and Work on Your Game University are operating in some form of a client-based business. Accounting, finance, legal space, coaches, consultants, personal trainers, fitness people, health people, a lot of service-based businesses, and service-based businesses work with clients, not customers. A client is a person who is under your care, and it's more than just a transaction when you have a client rather as opposed to a customer. All right, Walgreens has customers. All right, doctors have clients. All right, highly skilled people are able to find themselves work, and highly skilled people want to be able to find themselves work to do and customers to serve. Systems keep customers coming back and they keep clients attached so that the highly skilled person can keep delivering their skill to people who want it. How many of you have a high level skill and you are somewhat right now frustrated because you do not have enough opportunity to use your skill on people who want or need what you have? How many of you fit that description? I know several of you are nodding your heads right now. I know businesses who have this issue. I know individual people who have this issue. I know smaller businesses and bigger businesses that have this issue. We want more people, more clients to serve because we know we have the skill. We just need to figure out how do we get those prospects, that means people who could be a client but they're not yet, how do we get those prospects to become clients? This is a marketing issue, and marketing, when done right, is done as a system, not as random activities. Does everybody understand this? Your skills can attract the client if they know that you have the skill. The system is what gets them to know that you have it, gets them to come around in the first place, and then keeps them in once they get in. If your system is giving them what they need, if it is indeed giving them what they need. Now, if your system's not giving them what they believe they need, then they leave. So you can have a system for getting them, but not a system for keeping them. So there's more than one type of system you can have in what you do. Okay? So highly skilled people Again, you find yourself work and you find people who you can serve when you have the systems that can deliver what needs to be delivered to the right people in the right ways and at the right times. Why? Because your system produces a consistent and dependable result that someone can count on. And when people can count on a thing, they are going to continually invest in it and they will continually pay for it if you're giving them what they need. Now, the key here, this is another marketing issue, is you got to identify the right problem. A lot of times when I'm working with entrepreneurs and they believe they have a problem, they tell me what they believe the problem is. And after I ask them questions, I find out that the entrepreneur does have a problem, but it's not the one they think they have. In other words, they're solving the wrong problem. So they think that the issue that they're dealing with is because of this, this, and this, when the issue that they're dealing with is not because of that. That's not even the main issue. Your main issue is something that's over here and it's because of these things over here. So if you misdiagnose the problem, your clarity is off. And when you don't have clarity and instead you have confusion, that leads to all other types of problems and stagnations. So as an athlete, for example, if my knee was bothering me, it often wasn't anything wrong with my knee. What was wrong is my quad muscles not firing, my hips are out of alignment, and my glutes are not strong enough. So my knee is doing too much work. So my knee's bothering me, but I don't need to go get an operation on my knee. I need to fix the other pieces. But if I don't diagnose it properly, I never fix the right problem. All right, this is the reason why Work on Your Game University exists. Everybody hear what I just said? I hope you heard that. Rewind it if you didn't hear it. If you were daydreaming while I was just talking, make sure you rewind that and hear what I just said, because this is the key for many of you to get the breakthrough that you're looking for. There's nothing wrong with your skill. You don't have a skill issue. You don't have a skill issue. You have a diagnostic issue. You are diagnosing the wrong problem. And if you keep diagnosing the wrong problem, you're going to keep getting it. You're going to keep getting the wrong outcome, the one that you don't want. So if you are good at using your skill, yet you're still finding yourself having to go and find newer people too often or more than you want to, you want to look into the systems that you're using or the lack of systems that you're not using. Often, in my experience, is a lack of systems. It's not your systems are off, it's that you don't have any systems. In my experience, that's what's causing the issue. Putting more systems in place will put you in a better position to help more people more consistently and more dependably in the long term. And guess what? When you keep helping them consistently, guess what they do? They keep paying. Isn't that what everybody wants? All right, they get what they want, you get what you want, everybody wins. Even the government wins by taxing you. And as long as that system is delivering, everybody stays around. So for example, I was talking to some people in a live stream just this week from when I'm recording this. We were talking about Amazon Prime. How many Amazon Prime members do we have listening to this right now? I would bet 80% of you. Almost everybody in the live stream said that they were a member of Amazon Prime when I was asking, and we were talking about the price of it. And I went and looked up the price changes over the years. So Amazon Prime started as a $79 yearly membership back in 2014. And over the years, I think in 2022, they introduced the monthly payment. So now you can pay for about a month, but you can also pay by the year. I've been a member since it came out. I usually pay by the year. These days, Amazon Prime is $140 a year. My renewal is in January. So I remember it renewing in January. And what I read, and while I was talking about this to my live stream audience, is that Amazon bumps up the price usually every 4 years. And guess what? 2026 is a 4-year mark. So that price is probably going to go up to probably $160. So they seem to raise the price $20 every 4 years. They've literally done it every 4 years. 2014, it was $80. 2018, it became $100. 2022, it became $140. So maybe they bumped it up a little bit higher. 2014 to 2018, 18 to 22. Yeah, it got up to $140 in 2022. So it's going up $20 to $40 every time they bumped it. So in 2026, they're probably going to bump the price again. And here's the thing. Here's the part that I want to get at, because this is what I asked the live stream audience. If Amazon bumps their yearly Amazon Prime cost up to $160 from the current $140, how many of you who are currently paying the $140 would keep paying $160 to keep Amazon Prime? And the answer is, of those of you who are currently paying $140 a year for Amazon Prime, 95% of you would keep Amazon Prime even if they raise the price. Now, why would you keep it even though they raise the price? You would keep it because the value of Amazon Prime is more than the money you had to give up to get it. That's the reason why you'll keep paying for it. And if you get to the point that the value is not matching the cost, then you'll stop paying. You'll cancel. That's the system, folks. Their system has been proven to be worth the investment. That's why you keep paying even though they raise the price on you. Point number 9. Today's topic, once again, is high income skills versus high income systems. Number 9, skills create an edge and systems create an asset. Skills create an edge. Systems create an asset. It is great to have an edge because that's the reason why this very show is called Work on Your Game. Okay, so you want to have a skill that gives you an edge, an advantage over your competition. But that itself is only an asset when you are using it. Again, if you have the skill of playing basketball, your basketball playing ability matters only when you are on the court playing basketball. If you don't play basketball, your skill of playing does not matter. A system, on the other hand, is an asset unto itself that does not require you. In other words, the system can go out and go to work while you sleep. Isn't that what you want? A system can be working while you're sleeping, for example, because the system stands on its own. Jeff Bezos, for example, he had the skill, pay attention, he had the skill of putting together a website where people could buy books and eventually buy everything, the everything store, which is Amazon, what it's become now. He turned that website into an asset of its own. Do you think Jeff Bezos is sitting at a computer screen typing away, trying to make sure that the orders go where they're supposed to go to this day, 2025? No, he's not doing that. Jeff Bezos is not doing any of that. He turned the website into an asset. So Amazon.com is an asset that operates independent of Jeff Bezos. Now, are there people working on the back end of the website? Yes, but it's not Jeff. Yet Jeff is making money off money that comes through Amazon's website. You understand? He created a system. Now he makes money without having to do anything. Now, he probably still does stuff, but he hasn't had to do everything for the money to come into his pocket. So Jeff Bezos is not packaging up orders. He's not grabbing books off a warehouse shelf. He's not applying shipping labels to the bubble mailers. And now Amazon itself is an asset that makes money. Jeff Bezos could sell Amazon and not have his hands touch the company at all and still make money from what the company brings in because he created Amazon as an asset. So you need to look at systems as is almost like a person. It's an entity. When you have a skill must be housed within a person. A system is its own house. Does everybody understand this? When you have a skill, there's a person who must use the skill. When you have a system, the system itself is almost like as if a human being. It's not a human being, but it's pretty close. And the more systems you create, it's almost like you're cloning yourself. So y'all waiting on artificial intelligence to clone human beings. I'm telling you how to clone yourself right now. All you gotta do is create a system around what you already know how to do and what you know works and what produces a specific result for a specific person that they are willing to pay for. This creates systems. So the creator of Amazon, Jeff, does not have to show up to work and go and put packages in the truck in order for money to go into his account. That's why you want to create a system. All this said, let's recap today's class. This is part 3 of our 3-part mini-series, high income skills versus high income systems. Number 7, skills require discipline, systems require vision. All right, it's good to be disciplined because you have to be disciplined to keep using your skill. But when you create a system, what you need is the vision to ask yourself, how do I turn this skill into something that can produce an outcome over and over and over again, even if I decide to put my vision in park put my discipline, in park and go on vacation and not even use it for a while? How can I still make money from the skill itself? Number 8, skills attract clients, systems keep them around. So again, your skills will get people to say, I need what you're offering. Can you help me? Systems are what keep them around because your system is continually producing a result for them that may not necessarily have to come from you. Because how many different clients can you serve you yourself with your skill and your 2 hands and your 1 body that can only be in one place at one time? Number 9, skills create an edge, systems create an asset. It's good to have an edge because it separates you professionally from the other skill-based people out there, and there are lots of them. Systems, on the other hand, create an asset to where you don't have to use your own skill. You don't even have to physically be there for the result to be being produced and the money to be being made, all going to you and credited to you simply because you've created an independent entity that is serving you and serving others, and you don't have to be there for it to happen. Wouldn't that be great? All right, this is how you remove yourself from your business and what you're doing and put yourself in a much more empowered position, all based on your vision, not based on your effort and discipline. All this said, folks, at workonyourgameuniversity.com, I will help you with this, put this in place with you, show you how to make it work, edit as necessary and tweak as necessary so that you now have a separate entity, a clone of yourself that can produce certain results for you consistently on call, even without you having to do everything. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and you'll see. Work on your game. Dre, all